What's going on, y'all? Gonzo's Convos, Season 3, Episode 27. Let me make sure my camera here is in the right setting because I want to make sure it didn't reset on itself. Okay, cool, it is. There we go. All right, cool. So today we are bringing on Lara, and we're gonna go ahead and get to know her, what she does, her thoughts on things, and overall, I have a good vibe on overall, all around, right? So, damn, episode 27. That is crazy to me. Um, hell yeah, I'm about to get shit started. I don't know if it's just me. My hat's kind of being fucking fucky right now. I'm gonna go ahead and fucking just flip it around. Yeah. Oh, she's having trouble joining. Give me one sec. Give me one sec. She's having trouble joining. I don't know what's going on here. God damn.
It's happening.
Did it work now?
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. I've never used this before.
No, you're good. I just thought Safari was messing up again because sometimes it messes up. So I was finna throw a fit. No, I was playing. But go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Lara, and I'm an artist. I do a lot of different things.
Artist. Yeah, I can see that. It looked cool. Like, so if you don't mind explaining, like, what's the paint and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I figured if we were going to like hang out and talk, then I was going to come as my most natural self. Um,
Absolutely, I love it.
yeah. Self-expression has always been a really important part of my life and like how I show up in the world.
Hmm.
So the face paint is just a part of that, like whether it's for fun or for a photo shoot, whatever. Yeah, it's one of those things. Not necessarily meaningful in terms of like what markings I use, at least not today.
Okay, I feel that. I love that. So what made you start doing that? It's like using face paint and everything like that.
Hmm. When I was younger, I was kind of a wild child and I just wanted to like wear all the colors and all the patterns. And then as I got a little older and you're going into high school and my cat back here, you're going into high school and trying to make friends and fit in. And I wouldn't say that I lost it. I just was trying to kind of play along with what everybody was doing. It's like, I can be the crazy wild person. Can I be kind of a regular person who wears, Abercrombie and Fitch? I don't know. um, and that was cool. And then got really boring again. So I started to just dress up the way that I wanted to dress up. And um, it's a great way to stay connected to my core values. I
Yeah,
can't work. I can't go. I mean, I can go out like to go grocery shopping like this, but it's just you just don't really think about that. Like when you're out
yeah.
in the put a t-shirt on or whatever, and you get out of the door. Um, so taking the time to dress the way I want and be funky, however that
Yeah,
is keeps me grounded.
I love that. I love that. I love uniqueness because I feel like in this generation, there's too much of the same type of vibe, too much of the same person, if that makes sense. So kind of like how you said, high school, you're trying to fit in with the crowd. but at the same time, that crowd is all acting the same. They're all on that same type of time, and
Yeah.
that's exactly how it is in the world now. Like when it comes to social media and everything like that, everyone's trying to have the same goals, see what's the trend is that's gonna make them popular and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So it's really cool to see something unique. I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate the appreciation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's cool to, be different, but at the
Absolutely.
same time,
Yeah.
um, it kind of puts you as like an underdog because what everybody's seeing are the trends, is the what everybody else is like wanting to hop on, like what train
Mhm.
everyone wants to get on. So to have your own brand and try to overcome the trends that are going on
Yeah.
is like even harder nowadays than before, because I feel like I don't know, I mean, even like 10 years ago or so, you see somebody who stands out and you kind of like the limelight kind of goes to them. But now everything's so saturated with the masses and what the masses are doing that the individuals are kind of just stuck in the back, it feels like. So,
Yeah. Well, what people, a lot of people don't understand is, yeah, they'll have the limelight for a little bit, but eventually that light goes out. You know what I'm saying? Eventually it's going to turn off because they need to find a new trend to get on. So they're going to start trend bouncing, start going to different trends that everybody else is doing. And
yeah,
that's how they stay in the limelight, if that makes sense, which is crazy. But I feel like a lot more people need to realize uniqueness, like what's different. Like I'm tired of seeing the same shit. Let's look at some different stuff and let's see what that's all about. Kind of like this. Like this is cool. I love it. So
thanks.
I definitely feel like people need to pay more attention to stuff like that versus the same trends, the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, I understand that on a subconscious level, it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I just got finished watching this documentary called Shiny, Happy Shiny People or Shiny Happy People. Anyway,
Mhm.
and the short of it is that basically these huge, like very, very big group of like Christian fundamentalists are getting into these like cult like religions and churches and stuff, and people are it was like they're all looking for like a sort of safety net, like something, that a trend, that they can follow, or something, a religion they can follow that's
Yeah.
going to promise them some sort of security. And like when you roll that back into just regular social life, and social networking, I think there's a lot of that. You feel safe in the numbers, and you're doing the cool thing because everybody else is doing this thing too. um,
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to feel like they belong, and it can be detrimental if you're just constantly doing the next trend, because then like who are you really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah. I feel like a perfect example of that. I don't know if you're on TikTok a lot, but
mhm.
a lot of people started doing what's called the AI trend, where they're acting
Oh,
like AIs, acting all weird and creepy like that. And I don't know how that became a trend. I know some female did it, and then everyone else kind of jumped on that. But the fact that that became a trend and people liked it is crazy to me because they'd rather like that than something else. If that makes sense. Like to me,
yeah.
it's creepy. Like it's nothing. It's nothing too special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I started scrolling through a few once I read about it, and even like found the original account. I forget her name. She's like Pinky something or
Pinky doll or some shit like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And in the name of uniqueness and doing your own thing, I'm all for it. Like if it works for you, especially if you get into like what's the word I'm thinking of? Not like in pornography exactly, but like the kink world, the AI, or just like the dolls and like the themes, like it's very prevalent there. So I wasn't surprised that there were a lot of people into it. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, the scale that it has grown to at this point
It's
is
ridiculous, right?
it is
It's crazy.
but easy. Like people aren't even like really good at it. A lot of them. I mean, granted, this is just from my TikTok stream. The fuck do I know? But I do feel like people are chasing the bag, and good for them. But also, there's a difference between somebody who's trying to make money and somebody who's an artist.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
and that's where people get confused at because I feel like people when they're trying to chase a bag or try to do their thing to make money, cool, but if that's all you're focused on, then odds are that's probably gonna fail in the future. Versus if you're an artist, if you're doing something that's somehow gets you money, you can kind of keep that going because that's something you're good at.
Yeah.
Versus like TikTok live where you're just getting gifts, other people sending you money type of deal just for being live.
Mm.
Cool. That's not really like a talent though. That's not really like a skill. You're just going live. You're just known to people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And that's fine, like I get it. All of life is a popularity contest. It's all about who you know
In
and
this
whatever.
generation, in this
Yeah.
generation,
Um, I this is what kind of threw me off when the influencer title came about because it gave a way for regular normies to like be their own famous people. Now it's not just everyone in Hollywood that's famous, or well known. You can stream, and if you have a big enough following, then like you're a popular person. Um,
yeah,
but there's a difference between to me, there's a difference between being an influencer and posting things that people are going to watch versus being an artist and showing your art. Um,
yeah,
Kind of blurry. I mean, I had an experience where I want to share my art with the world, and of course, I also want to get gigs and get more work. So I was like, am I trying to be an influencer? Am I like, what is it? Am I
um,
doing wrong? And that's the distinction that I came to is like, I'm not an influencer. I'm not trying to make like funny videos for you. I'm an actor. I'm a model. I'm a professional mermaid. I'm a dancer. Like I create art, but I also in some ways have to kind of try and pull from the influencer bag because that's what people are looking for. People want
yeah,
to see 2-minute funny videos of relatable things. So
yeah,
it's like I want to put myself out there as an artist, but I also want to stay true to myself. Like,
yeah. Well, I
uh,
mean, you could definitely argue that being an influencer, does take talent, does take skill. Because, like you said, modeling, art, trying to keep up with trends, trying to find out what to talk about, what to make videos about, what to make your photos about. You know what I'm saying? That's a talent, that's a skill. But just going live on TikTok or going live on Instagram Live and that's all you do, type of deal. I mean, like I could argue that podcasting it takes a certain level of skill and a certain level of talent because you got to have conversational skills. You got to be able to stay on topic with things. You got to be able to keep the shit flowing. Because let's say if I didn't have those skills and I was just sitting here quiet, just kind of just doing this number right here and not really saying much, it would be a boring podcast, right?
mm-hmm.
So it does take skill with that, but with influencing for sure, I personally believe it does take
with
a certain set of skill.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear like, or even just talk about, I guess, more of it because I mean, I, there are some people who I feel like really put effort into what they're posting and what they're making, and
Mm.
I see like an art and a talent there. And then
Yeah,
other people are like just really well known even from a young age, and then as they get older they just get more popular. And then like you're an influencer because like I bought this thing and now I'm showing it to you, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Where does
That
where
seems like it seems like a lot of that does happen in this day and age where
Yeah.
people just get popular off of anything, and the AI thing is a perfect example of that. I'm trying to think of other situations where that happened because there were so many. You know what I mean? People got famous off of the most ridiculous shit. You know?
Yeah. And it takes consistency. I mean, no matter what you're doing, even with the the AI trend, it takes effort and time and commitment because you do have to show up if you want to keep the popularity or keep the money or whatever it is that you're making out of it. It's
Yeah,
not that there isn't any talent required because just to get in front of a camera, not everybody's very good at speaking, saving face and like being able to
yeah,
keep going. And it's not that it isn't doesn't take talent. Sometimes it's more like, what's the like greater purpose? You know what I mean? Like, and does it matter? Like, maybe I'm thinking about it too hard. you know?
I've definitely thought about it too hard because it's like, how did they get famous off of that? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. But that's just the world of social media and the internet we have in this day and age. But with that, right, I'm gonna ask you this:
Mm.
coming in, almost coming into a close of 2024, almost coming into it. Do you feel like stuff like that's gonna get better, or do you feel like it's gonna get worse with the trends and everything like that?
Using the terms better and worse are tricky because, like, is it bad? You know, like it's interesting. Like, would you categorize it as bad? Because people are being entertained, you know, and
I wouldn't categorize it as bad. I would say it's less of a challenge for people, if that makes sense. So better as in like, are people gonna get clout or famous off of legit shit, or do you think more people are gonna get clout over
yeah,
like
like the
ridiculous type of shit?
gonna like decline. Um,
Decline.
I honestly, I was thinking about this the other day, and I feel like it will be closely related to whatever happens with the actors strike that's going on. Um,
Oh, there's an actor strike going on. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a really big deal because what's happening is with these streaming companies like Netflix, the actors aren't getting paid in the same way that they would like for a movie. You've heard the term royalties, I'm sure,
Yeah,
like payments. What's
yeah,
happening is that these actors normally you get paid a lump sum for a movie and or a show, right? And then for reruns or like if somebody goes and buys a DVD or whatever, you get a certain amount of that because other people are still making money off of it. Other companies are still making money off of it.
yeah.
Now, what's going on now is that with these streaming companies, actors are being paid once and that's it.
Okay.
And now on top of it, with the AI, their likeness is being used and they're not getting paid for that either.
See, I called that shit out. I knew as soon as more AI technology came out, not only just actors and actresses, but artists are also going to be infuriated by that because people can use their voices, use their likeness to their advantage and make whatever the fuck they want to make type of deal. And it's
Yeah,
crazy as hell because I feel like the more people use this AI technology, the more bullshit's going to happen. And
yeah.
it could
It's
get
not that, actors, oh, these actors are already so rich, like why do they want more money? It's not about that. I mean, a lot of big name actors, like Viola Davis, she stopped making her movie. They're actually sticking up for the rest of SAG. I mean, SAG-AFTRA has employs, I want to make sure I have the right number. I want to say it's 160,000 actors now. And then if I ask you like name some famous actors, you can maybe name like what, like 10, in your on the top of your head.
yeah, so 160,000 is a crazy amount.
A
But
lot.
yeah,
And what's happening is most actors are, I mean, people who are acting consistently throughout the year are making between 25 and 45,000 a year just off of that. And that's like a good year. That's you like getting several positions in a movie or show or whatever.
are you
Not every,
talking are you talking like big name actors making that much or
no, is like the little people, and that's like
okay.
that's somebody who's working consistently. So the number of like big name actors that get like $500,000 a year or whatever account for less than 10% of the actors that are within a union under SAG.
Yeah.
um, so these it's not that they're, like I said, it's not like they're just asking for more and more money. It's that the little people at the bottom, I mean, I'm not a part of a union, but like I would consider myself like the little people. We're getting even more shit on. And I mean, these actors, the big name ones too, they're getting huge pay cuts. Like 50, not 50, 25% off of TV shows. And a lot of actors, like I said, they're on strike because of this, and a lot of them aren't. So what happens is not only are you not getting paid for the work that it is still out in the world, but now they're able to use your likeness and do whatever they want with it, and they're not going to pay you for that either.
which is
You
crazy. So
yeah,
yeah, you can't blame them for going on strike for that because they're
no,
using their likeness and their voices, everything about them to put in this AI, which is ridiculous. So
yeah. There was
yeah,
a British, I think he was a British actor. Honestly, I forget his name, but he was in a film. Or no, I'm sorry. He played a like an engineer or something. It was for a video game, and made really good money. And he had signed like his image, like his likeness to the company, so like they could use it for whatever. And then what they did, without his permission though, they used his likeness and made another video game character that had nothing to do with the character that he agreed to do. And
yeah,
this company made tons of money, and he saw none of it because he didn't have to be there for it. So that being said, like coming back full circle, I feel like there's going to be a really big shift in what we consider to be entertainment. I don't know that it's going to necessarily I don't know that it's going to go in decline, but I think it's going to be harder for artists that are trying to be different and do their own thing for them to stand out.
yeah. I
'Cause
agree with that.
I feel like it's like reality TV, except it's like the social media version of it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? People don't watch like TV as much anymore, like I mean, they watch shows, but you're not, I don't know, like on TLC,
yeah.
watching.
It's not cable no more. It's all streaming platforms and shit like that. Yeah,
And people are attracted to like drama, even if it's a little bit relatable or like not relatable, like if they're interested in it and it's like about what they consider to be real life stuff. I
yeah,
feel like it's easy to watch, and it's kind of readily available, and everybody's got drama to share. You know what I mean?
yeah.
um, so yeah, I guess in the short of it, I do feel like it's gonna get harder for people to kind of stand out with their own artwork.
I agree
But
with that. Yeah, I agree
again,
with that. It's gonna get harder.
it's all
But
about
it's
who.
do you feel like it's kind of scary how much AI, like how much of this AI shit that they're using in general? Like, do you think it's kind of like it could really cause a downfall?
Yeah, but I also feel like it's kind of inevitable. Humans seem to really love technology. Um,
Yeah,
I don't say that as a bad thing. I just say that we have a curiosity and a need to create, to explore, and to build and to grow, which is great. But we put a lot of focus on technology as opposed to like on like digital technology, on like computer technology, as opposed to like natural sciences and things like that, which is like a
yeah.
whole story. You don't want to wake up the hippie in me. um, so yeah, I feel like it's inevitable that this is going to keep going farther because we're too curious to stop. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? If you created the first computer, you're just gonna be like, all right, that's enough. That was good. No, you're gonna like keep pushing the limit, keep pushing that boundary.
yeah.
But like everything else, I feel like it's going to be up to the consumers to say, hey, this isn't okay anymore. Like where is it gonna be? Where's that line gonna be?
Yeah.
Um, where we kind of say, all right, this is probably too much. Cause
Wasn't one of those like two rich people? I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Elon Musk or who, but they were saying something that we got to chill with the AI technology type of deal.
really,
Oh,
no,
I
I
forgot which one. I forget if I don't know if it was Zuckerberg or Musk, but one of them said like we got to chill on this, like because we don't know exactly what boundaries we can end up pushing here. You know what I'm saying? And we're just getting started with this AI shit. But
I feel like it's
again,
important to take it slower, and really
they
see
definitely need to.
who and what's being affected, because we have this knack, even throughout history, to find a good idea. We find a solution to something, and we're like, this is great, this solves a problem, and then we go and implement it, and then next thing you know, like people are turning up sick, or like we end up like harming like the ecosystem, or there's something else that gets like fucked up on the other end because we
Yeah,
didn't say like what are going to be the repercussions of this, you know So
Yeah.
I hope this becomes like a wake up call, especially with the AI taking the likeness of people and doing whatever you want. I mean, think of the entertainment industry. If you just sold your likeness to them and like you don't need actors to make movies anymore, or like you don't need dancers, you don't need like there's so much creativity that's basically becoming null and void because we're letting AI take over. Um, and the hopeful in me, the hopeful part of me hopes that if AI becomes super popular like that, where like you don't even need, actors to make movies or like people to make movies, maybe like going to see a play or seeing real people perform becomes a novelty. Like maybe it can turn around and benefit us in some way, but I don't know.
We could hope, but I mean, like, I don't know. There's a saying, "Curiosity killed the cat," and I feel like the more curious people get with this technology, like, they're gonna fuck around and find out exactly what it's capable of, and who knows what bad shit could happen with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I think there's a difference between the technology being available and YouTubers or videographers and like people who like want to mess around and like make funny videos or whatever, like you have those deep fakes and stuff. It's like
yeah,
I feel like there's a place for that, but when it comes to like creating an entire film, of just AI, I feel like that is a huge boundary that doesn't need to be crossed, you
yeah.
know
I honestly I hope they win this strike because like if we're gonna see it in their shoes, like you can't tell me we would be with them. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, we would definitely be right there with them. Like, where the fuck's my royalties? Where's my cut at? Where's the money I'm supposed to be seeing for my stuff being used? Type of deal. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's really bad. It's not like they're just getting paid, I don't know, a couple thousand as opposed to like several thousand. I mean, these I forget. I just was watching an interview the other day, and this actor, no, not a big name actor, but somebody who has been in over like 150 well-known films, has worked alongside big actors, and he makes like YouTube videos that for like begin actors who are starting out, But
Yeah.
anyway, talking about um, the films that he worked on, and like something that he got from like the check that he got from Netflix was like $300 from like a show that was a really popular show. Um,
Only
yeah,
300. That's crazy.
it's really bad. So and I know it's hard to like follow along with like not being able to give specific names and whatnot, but I mean
Yeah.
it's all on the internet. Like just look it up. Um,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary, the big difference that like we're being devalued as artists because they can just mimic us, and it's shitty. But
Yeah.
how I wonder like how musicians were feeling, with the boom of like Fruity Loops and being able to like make music digitally. There's I don't know. I mean, people still play music and it's still happening. So maybe there's some sort of balance that'll come out of this too.
Well, I feel like with everything, there's always pros and cons to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't get a pro without a con. So, like, they could find out some cool, good shit about this technology, but like I said, there's definitely gonna be some cons with it, and I would hate to find out what the cons are, to be honest with you, because
Right.
we don't know. Like, we really don't know, and
It's
it could be. And it's funny to say this, right? Because there's always been like movies about like robots taking over the world and shit like
right.
that. That could potentially happen with this technology. Like, we don't know for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we're just like predicting our own doom.
Could
Like
be. It very well could be.
it's like 1984 sometimes, like with the security being cracked down in certain places, and um, yeah, it's a really weird world to live in because you have um, like a lot of important laws like being overturned and things changing, especially like with the abortion stuff, the stuff happening here in Florida with the schools and like books being taken off the shelves, like it's insane. And then at this, like people are so conservative on one end, and then at the same time we've got AI, which is like dominating a whole other section of our lives. So it's, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's getting a little hard to breathe.
Not only that, but I feel like it's also going to be taking people's jobs too. Like you'll have AI people working in fast food restaurants, working as teachers in schools and stuff like that. It's going to be crazy. And I
Yeah.
really do feel like they're going to use the AI to do that. And a lot of people are going to be out of jobs because of it.
Yeah, and not just out of jobs, but out of a voice. A teacher in school is teaching you what's in the textbook, but they're also giving you a peace of mind. You're learning, from another human being and their own experiences. Like I'm sure you can remember at least one teacher of yours that like said something to you, and you were like, "Damn, like that really
Yeah.
hits." You
Like
know,
his,
and
yeah, like says some real shit. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and with AI, for example, teaching in schools, who's who's controlling the AI?
Yeah.
Like
And it's going
that.
to be like, they're going to be reading straight from the context, and that's how you got to learn. And that's what's going to be crazy about it. So
Yeah,
you can't get like their point of view on it because they're an AI. So they're going to stick to what they're programmed to do type of deal.
right. And they're being programmed by like whoever has the most authority at the time. Right
Elon
now.
Musk.
Right. And right now, the school books are saying that that slavery in the long run was beneficial to Black folks. And like, I mean, I have stepkids, and they come home from school and they're like, there was less than a paragraph about Rosa Parks in my book today. And it was like, it was, this is my kid at home. Like they were saying, like, they didn't even talk about why she was sitting at the back of the bus in the first place. Just said like she wouldn't give up her seat, and like she became famous for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like these same people are going to be the ones that are going to be teaching to the kids. You know what I mean? Like that's really what I fear more is who is in control of the AI, and do they share the views that are in my best interest, in the best interest of my neighbors.
Yeah.
um, that's for me the really scary part, because like I have no.
Yeah. Especially for future parents too. Like for those that don't have kids yet and they're just still growing up in the adult world. That's scary as fuck too. But
Right.
it's funny that you mentioned that because even like when I went through school, they didn't really talk much about like Native Americans or anything like that. Like that was never talked about. And me as as a Latino American, like that would have been something cool to actually talk about. And they didn't really talk about that. They didn't celebrate, Latin History Month or anything like that. It was just kind of like something we all did as, Latinos that we all did amongst ourselves. It wasn't talked about in schools, which was crazy. Like they talked about slavery and all that, but
Right.
not talk about Native Americans and the history on
No,
that is crazy.
it's even worse. I mean, for native, like indigenous people have so little representation in places that matter.
Yeah,
I think the like Black Lives Matter movement and like all, like there's so much representation for Black people, and I think that they've paved the way for other people to speak up as well in a lot of ways. But like undigging the hole that was made with like the tragedies and just the genocide of indigenous people, and then like the displacement of cultures, is not talked about at all. There's a book that I'm going to recommend to everyone and anyone called Lies My History Teacher Told Me. And it is
I'd read
absolutely
it.
amazing. I listened to it in an audiobook, and it's the truest history book I've ever read or listened to. This college professor got upset because he had students coming into class that knew nothing about actual history, and he studied, I think it was between 13 and 15 high school history books, and basically picked them apart and gave the true account of what happened during like each time, and it was so eye opening.
I'm gonna
I
have to
mean,
read that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that because yeah,
I, it
I'm
talks about
just
people. It talks about American history, like the fact that Christopher Columbus like wasn't the first person to be here, and that there was actually trade happening in the United States with native, like indigenous people,
yeah,
and other cultures before the before it was colonized at all.
yeah.
Um, we don't know that. Like there's, and he gives actual evidence, and it's
And that's
highly
that's what I hate they teach because they say like they discovered and then conquered. Like that's not at all what happened at all.
insane.
And you know, and the fact that people celebrate Columbus Day is ridiculous because Columbus, for those that don't know, spread diseases. You know, he had people spread diseases all around on everybody that they conquered and raped the indigenous women of the land. So that's the real history right there. That's really what happened.
Yeah, and when they couldn't continue like killing people off, the law essentially made a lot of like certain herbs and plants and necessary, like not necessary, but items that were used in specific native culture. It was all becoming illegal and like disbanded. So you couldn't practice your medicine, you couldn't practice your own rituals, your whole culture was just being torn apart. And then you just kind of like kicked him over and were like, you're Mexican now.
Yeah, and then it came to saying to go back to where you came from. Like, that's not where I came from.
Dude,
Like, we had these lands. What are you talking about? Like,
right. And it's weird to me that we know, I mean, I can say most people know that the natives were not treated well, and their land was just taken over, and that the reservations that were given are absolute bullshit. But like there's nothing that's like really been done,
yeah,
like, and it's bothersome that like why is it so bad to acknowledge what really happened and give people that voice back? Like how many native kids were taken from their families to go be raised by white families so they could become civilized?
yeah, which is
And
ridiculous.
it's to me it shows that the people in power are not on do not have an agenda that involves the wellness of all.
Nope, not at all. And what's sad is I could tell you a little bit of backstory on my family. Um, so them being Mexicans coming over, right? I could say I'm probably like a fifth gen. So it's like my great grandparents that came over. But even then, like they came over and they didn't teach their kids Spanish or anything like that because of prejudice shit, all that bad stuff. And they wanted the kids to learn English so that they could blend in with society as best as they could. So there's only a certain few of us that know Spanish and that can speak a second language versus, the other half that doesn't know any type of Spanish at all. And it's sad because that's your culture, like that's your language. You know what I'm saying? And that's something you should know. But
Yeah. You're
history changed that.
Yeah, and the idea of the American lifestyle and the American dream was packaged really nicely. Even from I mean, I'm from Brazil originally, and like I have Brazilian friends, and their parents came here and they were like, "We're not going to teach you Portuguese. We're Americans now. We're doing the American thing," and that's great, but like you're completely losing your culture, your heritage, and you're also not getting to connect with your history. Because no matter, like, even if you're raised in a certain place, you still have your culture ingrained in your blood, and like the way that you're gonna think, the way that I mean, your DNA is made up of like DNA of your ancestors. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people, and this is a generalization, but like I feel like many people feel maybe like displaced, out of place, not really knowing their place in the world. And I firmly believe that it attributes to like people being cultureless as fuck. you know?
Americans in general, yeah, it's a very cultural society, but it's a very diverse society as well. So there's still culture among everybody in the states, but as a whole, as in general, they're still accustomed to American type traditions, American culture, and what's crazy is that's changing all the fucking time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because all that matters here is who's the president, who's that gets into politics and shit. And I can
Yeah.
tell you, I don't really get into politics like that because I know that shit's corrupt. I know that shit is
It's
it's
not a
it's like people voting. Like okay, it's cool, people vote, but the votes don't really matter. You know what I'm
is
saying?
it my
Let's
funny?
let
Is it you
yeah
that's
yeah yeah. Like let's really think about this right now. The votes don't really fucking matter. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
The fact that we've been arguing about the same two parties winning for the past freaking several decades is insane. Like,
Yeah.
and when I would talk about voting for, like, well, maybe, like, I don't know, like, maybe Green Party, maybe, like, whatever, and people are like, no, well, you're gonna throw away your vote if you don't vote for either the blue or the red. I'm like, how? But
Yeah.
but how are we gonna get something different if we've tried both, like, Democratic and Republican viewpoints, and, like, we're just constantly arguing about them? Why the hell is nobody saying, hey, let's figure
And
out, like,
it's crazy when people say like, "Oh, we need more minority votes to change this." That's not gonna happen. Like, I could vote all fucking day, and have everyone in my family vote, plus homies, everybody vote, and that's not gonna change anything. You know what I'm
right?
saying?
It's either going to be a Republican running the office or a Democrat. And you're going to see pretty much, like, I mean, I get it. Like, in different administrations, different things have happened. You know what I mean? Like, who is the president matters. But when it's just stuck between these two parties, we're just going to keep getting more of the same shit. And I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, obviously. But,
Yeah.
like, when they overturned Roe versus Wade, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, like what? Like, we worked so hard to have the freedom to say, I can't have a kid right now, or I'm gonna die if I have this kid, so I can't do this, you know? And
Yeah.
people already died, and people are dying, people are sick, people are leaving their state because they have to go get help somewhere else. Because, like, they waited 1 week too long before they found out they were pregnant or something, and, like, now they're at risk of dying.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really fucking weird.
It is, and that goes into a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So like bringing it to the COVID era, you know what I'm saying? When I graduated high school, like when it was at its peak, 2020. Do you think that was coincidence, or do you think that that shit was all planned out?
Oh God. um, I don't know that I can confidently say that I feel like it was planned, but I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that COVID was created in a lab somewhere and something got out of hand.
Definitely.
Like,
You know,
I
and
don't
for
know
them
if
to blame and for them to blame bats in China, like since when the fuck have bats in China been an issue? You know what I'm saying? When has there ever been an issue with bats in China?
yeah, that was really weird for me. And then and then everything that came with it, like with vaccines and whatnot, and, like, mm, there's a conspiracy theory that I was reading about, and the idea is that there are these viruses are being tested to see
Hmm.
who gets wiped out, how fast it happens, and, like, what are the repercussions, like, if somebody doesn't die. And apparently in the next, like, before the next decade, there's going to be another a pandemic of some sort.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, dude, if something like that happens again, I'm going down the conspiracy
Uh,
train all the way.
yeah. Well, I've been down the conspiracy train, but
Yeah,
I
I
will
just
say that
went down.
I will say for all in all, it could be very well that we are test subjects. Us as being citizens of the U.S., we are test subjects. And
Yeah,
COVID already did wipe out a good amount of people.
a
It
lot.
very well. And somehow it's still kind of somewhat kicking around. It's just not talked about as much or not really thought about because people hated that. You know what I'm saying? No one liked that
I
happened. That quarantine happened. All that shit. but it wiped out a lot of people. And when you're saying there's another epidemic coming, who knows what that one's gonna bring? You know what I mean?
Right, and who it's going to be attacking.
Yeah.
Um, it is so weird. It's only been 3 years, and I was actually at one of my stepkids' school functions earlier today, and we're like all in line getting food from like this buffet they set up, and like there's a big water jug, and we're all just pressing the water button, and I'm like filling my cup, and I'm like, should I like wipe this down or something? Like
Yeah.
nobody's anymore. Like we're and I get it. Like I understand how like viruses work. Enough people like are healthy, and then like you get like enough antibodies, and like you're not gonna get as sick from it anymore. It's like the flu. It's like it's everywhere, you know. But I don't have to wipe every handle anymore. Um,
COVID felt like the flu. That's
right.
what the hell it was.
So yeah. So like I get that like comes a point where you don't have to worry about certain things anymore, but it just I don't know. It still feels suspicious, and I don't know if it's because like I lean towards conspiracy theories sometimes, or if it's actually suspicious, and that's just me being as
Well,
blatant.
I mean, I'm interested in all types of conspiracy theories. Alien ones being the top one because I'm always interested in that. But I don't know. I definitely think it raises suspicion in general because people that aren't so into conspiracy theories even has suspicion about it. You know what I mean? So
Right. It's
it's very
it.
suspicious.
Yeah, I guess honestly for me it just comes down to uh distrust in like Big Brother, you know, like in the government, in like bigger umbrellas of government, um,
Yeah.
because of a lot of things. It's not just the pandemic. Like the documentary that I was talking about earlier, shiny happy people. Um, the one of the people that they are talking about in the documentary is this big time Bill Gothard is his name, this big time like pastor who was essentially like creating this crazy fundamentalist Christian church, and it's a crazy documentary. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. But the point is, he was tried on several accounts of sexual harassment and inappropriate touch. I mean, just like all kinds of things. And I mean, women coming forward, there was a whole website where one of the victims created, where he gave space for other victims to come talk about it. I mean, tons of people. You think Bill Gothard is in jail?
Probably not.
No. And he's part of the people who many of the people who funded the churches that he was creating, or these facilities that he was creating. It wasn't just money from the churchgoers that he was using. He's getting money from politicians. He's getting
Oh,
money from people who have big businesses. Like the owner of Hobby Lobby is one of his biggest supporters, you know? So like
yeah.
you're in league with these big dudes, and you have been accused of sexual harassment and like all this other kind of misconduct, and you're not in jail.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird as
Come,
fuck. When
it's
our own president is kind of suspicious about that too. You know what I mean?
all
Kissing. With that little kissing shit.
yeah, it's a
It's a
little weird.
little weird.
It gets a little weird. Yeah, it's I think for me that's what it boils down to, is a distrust that these authority figures don't have our best interest in mind. And I don't know, like is it just the people that get into these positions of power, they're just power hungry? Did they start off
Money.
and then they fucked up later? Like, you know what I mean? What
So
happened?
it's all money. It's all business, and that's kind of what, going back to American culture, right? It's all about money. It's all about how much you have and how much you can make.
Yeah.
So all this, all this shit, all this bullshit we were talking about, that's all a
Yeah.
business thing, business opportunity for these big people.
Right.
Essentially, is what it is.
Yeah. And honestly, to come back full circle, this is why I don't hate on like influencers and people who are like making money for not doing anything, not anything, not to say that, for doing, you know, minimal things, is because like, all right, you want to treat us like we're materials and that like we're business to you, then like we're gonna
Ooh,
try
yeah,
our own too, you know?
yep. And that's why
I,
you see so many of us content creators out and
exactly.
about doing our thing, because of that.
We don't under the umbrella, and under the corporate umbrella, you know? So
But
I do.
at the same time, it's something we felt like we found that something we enjoy doing. So it's like, okay, I have no problem doing this now, you know?
Yeah, I think what's really happening is that we are discovering that we have more freedom than we realize, more ability to support ourselves financially than we realize. And I think this is the beginning of that exploration. People get bored. There's going to come a time where, like, I think people are going to want more. People are going to want to see more than just, I don't know, whatever, like the lamest content creation you can think of. I
Yeah,
think we're going to keep raising the bar, especially as artists, as performers. We like to challenge ourselves. We like newness. Usually, artists, people who are creators in general, we're always looking to like make something different, make the next big thing. And I think that's our saving grace.
I would say so too. And honestly, I hope it just continues climbing. Like I hope
It's
just
up to
us as a whole society of content creators, we just keep on rising, keep on going up. Because eventually we're gonna have to worry on ourselves and have to rely on what we do as content creators. We
right.
can't rely so much on the people above type of deal. You know what I'm saying?
No. And not just financially, but even in just fulfillment, you know? I mean, so you said you graduated in 2020, right? So can I ask how
Yeah.
old you
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
so how old are you?
Oh, I thought you said, "Can I guess?" Oh, 21.
Okay, so you're 21. I'm 31. We're exactly 10 years apart. And I look at like people who are like my grandparents' age. So my grandparents are Brazilian. So I'm talking specifically friends who are like here in America, right?
Mhm.
Um, their parents like worked that same job for 30 years, and they were able to go to vacation to Disney a few times a year or whatever, and
Yeah,
now like they're retired and they just kind of like live at home and drink all day. Like people aren't really like living their lives, and I feel like this younger generation, we're doing something. It's not just about not having to live in the corporate world or work in the corporate world. It's about like fulfillment. It's about like if I'm gonna do something for 40 hours a week, I better fucking love that.
yeah,
I'm gonna love that. And I'm getting that money. I'm making that for myself. I'm representing myself. I'm showing up for myself. Not showing up for some other person's business who doesn't give a shit about me and who's paying me like as little as they can. I think that's what's going to be the biggest thing coming out of this because let's you I think as an example, like you're doing this podcast and obviously it's something that you enjoy doing, and let's say like you continue and it takes off, whatever, like you stay on this path, right? If
yeah,
and when you decide to have a kid and your kid's like, I don't know what I want to do, you're gonna say like whatever it is that like lights your heart up, that's what you should do. You're gonna encourage your kid to follow their dreams. Me
yeah,
growing up, I've wanted to be an actress since I first started watching Barney at 2 years old, and I vividly remember like being little and like I want to be on the screen making the magic with people. And
yeah,
when I went to college, I was like, I can't study acting. If I study acting, then like I'm not gonna. How am I gonna survive? My parents
yeah,
are still not financially stable. I mean, by the time I was 25, I had moved 33 times out of necessity. I've lived with
yeah,
friends, we've been evicted, I've come home from school and like my shit's packed up and we're moving. Like, so I grew up with this huge fear that if I just tried to follow my little artsy heart, I was going to be homeless, like stuck,
yeah,
and I'm just now like putting my like just holding on to my balls and like just going for it all the way. And I mean, I do a lot of different things and I've created stability for myself in different
yeah,
ways. But there was just this fear that like if we didn't live in the corporate world, you're not going to make it. And I feel like this newer generation is completely revolutionizing that. And that's what's going
Yeah,
to change the world. I
yeah.
think so.
I would say that's the one of the few pros of the cons in this generation is we are finding new ways to make money and to find fulfillment and to find our own path on what we want to do for sure. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. Because that wasn't really too much of an option. 20 years ago. Like
Right.
20 years ago, people were, you know, do. I would say 20 years ago they were doing more shit to just get by. You
Oh,
know,
for sure. And
like
then believing that that's what you're just supposed to do. You go to work and then you come home and that's it. Like that's this. You should be happy. You should be. And like
yeah.
it's
And so
just
I feel like our ancestors sacrificed that fulfillment so that in hopes that whoever they get passed down to would have that fulfillment type of deal.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
feel like people need to show more appreciation to that. If they're real big in content creating and stuff like that, like, hey, you didn't all the way make it on your own. You know what I mean?
No,
Not
we're standing on some really worked out shoulders. Like it's taken a lot to get here, and it's taken a lot to make it work, and a lot of people are making it work. So I hope that it becomes a positive outcome.
oh yeah, I hope to continue seeing all this shit rise. Because we're in this too. You know what I'm saying? We're part of that circle, so we gotta keep that shit moving forward, going upwards. It's always
Yeah.
up from here type of deal.
Yeah, and
And
supporting and respecting each other is the way. Like even, if I think I've gone on TikTok a few times and like liked or like given coins or whatever to like random people just cuz I'm like you're an artist and you've only got like I don't know 300 likes and you're performing this beautiful like composition like yes, I will give you a like I don't care, you know what I mean? Like I want to support that and
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I hope
See
that we
that's
all
see that's what I like seeing TikTok and stuff used for is legit to show the talent that people have. What I don't like is when people go on live and just talk and just kind of sit there and like, all right, guys, send me a gift, because it's like,
right.
what are you doing? That's like supposedly supposed to earn you that gift. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to come
Yeah,
up with something. But when I see people singing on there, doing their thing on there, I'm like, okay, like they're actually trying to portray themselves. Actually trying to put themselves out there, type of deal. And that's what I like about social media. You know,
yeah,
you got individuals that are using it for the right reason. You got individuals that aren't. So,
right.
you
It's
know,
got balance
so I hope
there.
the ones that are using it for the right reasons continue doing their thing and continue going upwards.
Yeah, I'm all for like uplifting people who are on a mission, especially an artistic mission. Um, art is so healing. It's so powerful. It changes how people look at things and how people understand each other. Especially like you said, like this is such a melting pot of cultures here in the United States, and
Yeah,
the more space that we give to each other, even if we disagree, like it doesn't have to be personal. Like you could be a like hardcore like Trump supporter and I could like not be a hardcore Trump supporter and it's like okay, like my color is red and yours is blue. Like we don't have to like force each other to agree on the same terms. We have to give each other space to be on
yeah,
our own terms. That's what
yeah,
it's all about. There's more than enough space here. It's supposed to be the land of the free, but all that seems to be happening is people trying to box each other up.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like people focus on all the wrong things. Like, for
Yeah.
one, people are very sensitive in this generation. So let's say if I disagreed with so and so on a live video or whatever, they would take that to heart, even if it wasn't anything serious. They would take
Really?
that to heart. Yeah, it happens a lot. That or people focus on zodiac signs, like who they're gonna fuck with and who they're not gonna fuck with because of a zodiac sign. And to be honest with you, I don't really believe in the zodiac signs like that. I don't think that really defines truly what a person is or who defines who they are, type of deal, as a person. But a lot of people believe it does, and it kind of like keeps you from wanting to try to build something with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because okay, they're gonna judge me on my zodiac sign or some shit. You know?
Right. And I mean, oh gosh, that's like another rabbit hole. Because let me just say, first of all, that they ask you like what your zodiac sign is. So astrology, there's Asian astrology, like Chinese astrology, and then there's
Yeah.
Ayurvedic, which is like from India. And they all use the planets to find like your zodiac or to find like what your chart is.
Yeah.
But not is it like different depending on like where you're from, but your sun sign, which is what people ask, like what's your zodiac, it's usually they're asking about your sun sign, and that's just one aspect out of 12. So
Yeah.
like me being an Aquarius and you being a whatever, like sure, I can maybe if you tell me your zodiac and I know you as a person, I could be like, oh, I could see that about you. But like I have no idea who and how you are without like seeing the rest of your chart and then getting to know you.
Yes, I'm
Because we all have a predisposition, even just our DNA, we have a predisposition for like how we are going to be or what we can potentially be,
yeah,
but it depends on your life experience because certain experiences will trigger or activate different parts of your personality to come about. So
exactly.
like people like if, this was a study I was reading about. This is a long time ago, but essentially they were saying like uh, cellularly, you there's like a trigger that can happen for somebody to become an alcoholic. So like if it runs in the family, there's a good chance you'll become an alcoholic. But
Yeah,
if you don't drink a lot, if you don't get into the habit, that's not going to get activated. Where if you do, you have a really high chance that addiction trigger in the mind gets activated.
yeah,
And it's yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Like you can't just ask me what my sun sign is or whatever and like assume you know everything about my personality because it's not
yeah,
that simple. And also, as far as what you said about people being sensitive, I hope that with the rise of all the technology, I hope that there's a rise in therapy. Truly taking things personally, I find it to be like one of the main reasons that people like can't get along. Like even if I say something that like comes off the wrong way, it doesn't mean that like I hate you as a person or
yeah,
whatever. We can have a conversation and say, "Oh, damn, like that kind of stung," and you can say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that." And I can tell you like, "Oh, why did that hurt?" Or like, "Okay, well, thanks for apologizing." It doesn't have to be this egotistical battle of like, "Well, you can't talk to me like that anymore." Like you put this
yeah,
wall because what happens is then like the walls that you build, they keep getting thicker and thicker. And it comes to a point now when you're like an older adult and you just see the world through this really fucked up lens, and you're up on your high horse because nobody's gonna get to me, like or
yeah,
same thing like, well, I dated this one zodiac sign and they fucked me up, so I'm never gonna see that zodiac sign again. Like
yeah. Like what the?
more walls that you put up, the less possibilities and opportunities that you are able to get in life, because if something that I've recognized in my own 31 years, my short 31 years, is like there are lessons for you to learn and they will keep coming up until you open yourself up to learning them. And by opening yourself up, I mean like acceptance, forgiveness, and moving the fuck on. Like actual acceptance and forgiveness and moving the fuck on. So if
Yeah,
like this one zodiac sign fucks you over, you best believe that somebody of that same zodiac sign is gonna come along to test you. And not to test you to like put another wall up, but to test you to see if you can like let it go.
if you that or like if you could actually like build something from them without even knowing their zodiac sign. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. And that's just like a little example. It's like there's a lot of experiences that bring us pain and we don't want to experience that again.
but
But
I feel like with their mindset because they're so set on I don't like that zodiac sign.
yeah.
They can have the best vibe, like they have a good conversation with that specific person. But once
Hmm.
they find out their zodiac sign, automatically they're gonna start hating them in their mind
Right, because
because of that, and it's crazy.
yeah, because you didn't heal. You know, you're still hanging on to that grudge from that one person that screwed you. And this is why I push therapy. Because, dude, I've been in one-on-one therapy for like a month now. I've had 3 sessions, and we're still mapping out like what I need specifically out of this therapist. And
Yeah,
like, it is hard work because like you have to really admit the truth about like what you're feeling and what's going on. And then like looking at yourself and saying like, oh shit, like that's gotta
yeah.
change,
Like
you know,
I fucked up. Yeah,
or for introspection. Like, what can I do differently? How can I take responsibility for my actions and myself in this situation? Even if like what the other person did was completely fucked up and like I was just trying to defend myself. Was
yeah,
I being that? Like, was I being maybe like too wishy-washy? And it, you know what I mean? It's not saying that like it's my fault, but again, taking responsibility and taking back control over my life. Other people
yeah,
can't do anything to me as far as emotions go. You know, I might have a reaction, but I have a choice about what I
yeah.
do with feelings. You know, I can feel
Exactly.
I don't have to harbor it as a grudge forever. And I feel like because intellectual awareness and just self-awareness in general isn't very promoted in our culture, that
Mhm.
the younger generation like misses out on that. Like if I could go back to like middle school, like I don't know if you had a great middle school experience, but I didn't. Middle school sucked.
I did in sixth and seventh. Eighth was kind of like I was more so just focused on like sports and shit, and then
Mhm.
get out of there. And then kind of the same way with my senior year. So
Yeah.
overall, I would say it was just a good school experience. But there
It
are some things I do want to go back and kind of redo, if that
Of
makes sense.
course. I mean, so for me, like with having a not a good experience in middle school, the awareness that I wish was taught was like, you know, how people feel about you versus how you feel about people and like fitting in and things like that. There's a lot more to it than just like kids at school are being mean or you know just like things that you did that were fucked up because you wanted to fit in with the crowd.
Yeah.
And there's a time and an age for everything. Like kids can be dicks, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
have I have stepkids. Like I'm like, damn, you guys suck. Like sometimes, like oh, you know, like so mean. But it's we practice a lot of like self awareness at home, and it's like, hey, I see that you're really pissed, and like you're kind of being a jerk. Like what's up? You know,
Yeah.
why do you feel like you had to yell for that? You know, like really look inward at yourself, and like those are the kind of things that I feel like we're missing. Like I hope that future generations start to teach their kids more about like self-awareness and like kindness, not just towards other people, but kindness towards yourself. So
Yeah.
that there is less pressure.
Yeah. Or like how to deal with like situations and stuff like that. Because
Exactly.
that's what's important. To be honest with you, you know, that's very
Right.
important.
How
Mhm.
you are will determine who you are.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
But shoot, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
We're about hit on that hour mark. That was really good actually. I actually really enjoyed this conversation.
Like
I feel like we hit a lot of key points and it was really good. I liked it.
and we went around the whole world.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
I
good though. It was really good. I do have like a little I guess you could call that challenge, like a little challenge at the end of the podcast video. Have you ever heard of the emoji challenge?
no.
No. So basically, the emoji challenge is, I basically you get a face emoji and you got to imitate it as spot on as you can. So I
Mm,
got like 5 of those. They're easy ones, nothing
okay,
crazy or anything like that.
I'm still
Um, so this also puts the acting skills to the test, I guess you could say. All right. So you see where it says Gonzo's Convos on the box right there,
on the box. No, where?
on the corner, like on the corner it says Gonzo's
Oh,
Convos.
I see it.
Yeah. So right there, the emojis will pop up.
Oh,
And that's the first
I
one.
wink. I gotta have, okay, here's the heart. Wait, is it the same side?
Yeah. There you go. 'Cause,
I hate it. That's a terrible one. I'm trying to, wait. Mm, 'cause, like, I don't have, okay, here's the heart. Wait, is it the same side? I hate it. That's a terrible one. Let's try to, wait. Mm, wait, is it the same side? Okay, here's the heart. Wait, is it the same side? Yeah, I like that side better. It's my good side.
And then there's the next one. That one's pretty easy. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like an everyday for everybody.
Oh, 100%. I wake up and I'm like, oh.
I think that's more like the I'm lit face.
Yeah.
Had too much. Yeah.
Oh, the wink.
Yeah. A lot of previous guests actually couldn't wink, so they were struggling with this one. Yeah,
It's
that's funny.
left and right while like looking at the camera. That time so fucked me up.
And then this one's probably the easiest one out of all of them.
Oh yeah. Right.
So what exactly does this one mean? Because I've seen that one used a lot, but I don't really know exactly what the whole meaning behind that is.
To me, it's like a, oh my god, like I can't believe that happened, or oh no, you know, like that.
So like kind of like a how would you explain that in words though? Like
in words, I would describe this emoji as an emoji. Wait, do I have to describe the emoji since like it's a podcast? No, it's people can still see. It's fine.
Yeah, they can still see.
Right. I would say it's the emoji of disbelief. Disbelief. Okay. I don't believe this happened. Do you know?
Okay. I feel like I thought it was more like a scared, like if you're watching like a horror movie or some shit.
Oh yeah, I could see that too. Scared. Like I don't want to look, but I do.
Yeah. Which like if you're watching a horror movie, do you actually do that or?
No, never. I don't think I'd probably just cover my whole face because I really don't want to look. I don't know that I peek.
You said why the whole face and not just the eyes?
I mean, seldom do I not want to look. So if I wanna hide my face, it's because I'm really trying to hide my face. I love scary movies, but sometimes there are certain parts and I can't watch somebody's leg get sawed off, you know.
I got you. So I'm saying like the whole face because like you said you cover the whole face, but some people probably just cover their eyes or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious. The whole face. I don't know. This feels weird because like my elbows are on to the side, so it just comes with this.
Yeah. So what movie actually made you do that?
I just watched Don't Talk or Talk to Me. It's a horror movie. I forget who the writers are. It's like their first big movie with A24, and I'm really proud of them. And it's basically about this ceramic hand. It's like shaped like this.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, I think it was really well done. Because although it's about spirits, the spirits aren't what scare you. They have these poignant moments of violence that come out of nowhere, and you're just like, that.
All right. So
I have like a 7-foot boa constrictor, and she doesn't scare me. But sometimes, like that movie, that was a little fun.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw in another one, right? With that interaction, with using your acting skills. How would you act out not like a whole movie, but like the scariest parts of the movie, and how you would what do you call it?
Like react.
Yeah, there you go. How you would react to it.
How I would react to a horror movie?
Like the scary parts of the horror movie, yeah.
Oh my god.
Like the parts that you don't want to see. Acting challenge.
Usually I'm with somebody, so like let's pretend this is the person's arm. No. I can't. No, I can't. Is it done? That's it.
I give props. That's what I'm telling you. The acting skill is gonna go a long way for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But that's funny though. Like you don't peek at all. Like you have to wait for someone to tell you that it's over, type of deal.
Yeah, or the music will tell me, you know, or you just like the sound of somebody's like face smashing into the thing stops, and then I know that I'm like, okay, I don't have to like his teeth.
So there's no peeking going on at all whatsoever.
I try, like I want to see, you know, but mostly, if it's real gory, like I don't know if you've ever seen the Saw movies.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. It comes to a point with like blood and guts are like spilling out, but I don't know, it's got to be very specific things. Like if there's aggression and violence actually happening, if it's like somebody just gets his arm cut off and like, it's fine. But when it's like the slow and like,
Like you see the guts and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot
that's
for me.
funny.
A
That's
little hard.
funny. Cause I could picture you doing that and then kind of like peeking a little bit in between the fingers, maybe. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
funny.
But just not the fingers. Look, I'm not going to be watching a movie and I'm going to be like trying to use the finger. But just feels like easier to pull my hand down than doing this.
Why does it feel easier to do that? Because I feel like that you can just kind of move your finger and just kind of like, okay, I can see it now. Like,
Logically, you're right. You're correct. However,
yeah,
no, what I think, that's a good point though. When there's the adrenaline rush, um, you're kind of acting out of fight or flight, right? So I feel like maybe there's little control over like my motor skills because I'm just trying to like not be traumatized.
I feel you.
For me, it comes out as just like as opposed to. But who knows? Now, like I'll talk to you in like 3 weeks and be like, I started doing the finger thing. Thank you for setting me free.
Actually, let me know if you do that, because if you did, because I'm gonna feel like I influenced that.
Oh, I will 100% tell you because
I
you.
personally don't do that. Like I'll still watch it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's nasty. But like other people would probably react like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and I wasn't always like this. Honestly, it's just I don't know. I'm not even old, but it's
no,
just like
not at all. I
certain
don't
things.
consider I don't consider someone old until they're like 70.
Same, right? And yeah, agreed. Like,
So besides horror movies, what else would someone do that for though? Because I feel like I
hmm,
said, I feel like it has so many meanings to it. I just
sure.
feel like
But you mean doing it like in real life or use the emoji?
in real
Oh,
life, in real life.
I don't feel like. Oh, maybe you're about to get in a car accident and you're in the passenger seat, and then shit you can do.
I don't know, because I feel like that happens so fast. It's just I don't know. I could
And
be wrong, but
kind of finger, right? By the time the finger happens, that accident's already happening.
yeah, then you're seeing Jesus. You're opening your finger to see Jesus, probably.
Okay, that happens too fast. That's a good point. Um, hmm. I mean, maybe if you're trying to peek at like a surprise or something that somebody's trying to get for you, and you're trying to sneak a look, that could be a way. Right, because it's not helping you at all, right? Like it's not like this is any kind of like defense move. It's if like a snake is coming at you, you can't just cover your face and like open an eye. Like if you're being
Yeah,
a
'cause it's gonna
person
bite your hands. Yeah.
getting like chased by a person, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, horror movies are the only thing that I feel like legitimately I'm covering my hands and potentially peeking through my fingers.
Hmm.
I mean, well, oh no, maybe like naked sexy person, and you're not supposed to be looking at, and maybe you're like trying to sneak a peek, you know? I
But
don't know.
but us as adults, are we gonna really be doing that? Like, let's be real.
I'm reaching here. I'm reaching. Probably not. Probably not. It would be as a joke. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's something that if anything, I would see kids doing.
See kids doing.
Yeah, like kids trying to be sneaky, like if you tell them not to look or something like that. Like if maybe you're watching a movie with a kid and there's a scene that's not really appropriate for them for whatever reason, you tell them not to look, and they're
Okay. Okay. But
lame
like,
and like,
so you're saying like just for adults, it would just be horror movies.
yeah, that's the only reason.
Okay. What about if you have a kid or if you're playing with a kid?
Oh, I mean peekaboo.
There you go. There's another one. I mean, I don't know how you would play it, but yeah.
Right. um, yeah, no, that would be it. I mean, maybe you're playing a really weird game where like okay, here we go.
Weird game.
Gonna get real weird. But maybe like, all right, there's person A and they've got like a water bottle or something, or they've got a squirt gun. And
Yeah.
person B has to keep their eye from getting like wet from the squirt gun, and the person with the gun has to try and get the person in the eye.
That'd be that'd be a game like yeah, that'd be a game kids would play probably like, oh, I'm gonna get you type shit. I don't know. You wouldn't see adults doing that shit unless they're probably like intoxicated enough or something.
No,
I don't know.
also be weird. They'd be like trying to pee on each other or something. Are you kidding me? We can't be trusted.
I think that's a kink.
That is a kink. Somebody tried to pay me once to show them like a peeing video, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's weird.
I was like, Robert, stop it.
Please don't do that. Don't, no matter the money, don't do that. Yeah. But, I'm trying to think too of different things. I don't know.
Hard one. Oh, I feel like
It is a hard one. Because again, people use that emoji for different reasons, but in real life situations, I can't think of one.
Yeah. Well, emojis, I guess, I feel like they express more of an emotion than an actual gesture. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
it could be.
it's a thumbs up, but like I feel like you're typing out like what you're feeling versus like what you're doing. Maybe.
It could be. Could be. Emojis are kind of confusing. And all in all, they're kind of confusing. Like, I didn't know the shit emoji was shit for the longest time. I thought it was chocolate. I was like a piece of chocolate. Yo, why you laughing? What the fuck?
It's great. I love that. I really want to know how many times you used it thinking it was chocolate, actually.
Well, I was like in middle school at the time, and I had my first iPhone, so probably a lot. You know what I'm saying? I want to go get some, you know what I'm saying, after school or some shit. And then later finding out it's shit, I was like, oh, fuck. Now motherfuckers think I eat shit, you know?
Right. They thought I was just shitting that whole time after school.
But for some reason, it was just that one that had me confused because, like I said, the way people post, the way people use it, it's like,
yeah,
why would they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's a really good fucking point.
I don't know. I tend to overthink a lot of things, so you know, I'm really always thinking type of shit. I overthink a lot of things, you know.
That's fair. I get it. I mean, it probably is what makes you a good podcaster, you know.
Yeah. I never run out of things to say, type of deal. So podcasting is kind of in my favor with that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What'd you think of that challenge, though? I don't know if like you think I should add more emojis to it, or you think I should change it up a little bit.
I mean, I love variety, so I maybe like switch them up after a certain time, or like have a carousel of them that like you rotate through. You know, nobody knows what they're gonna get, kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe like throw something weird in there, like an animal of some sort.
I'm not throwing the shit emoji in there because no one's gonna be shitting on this podcast.
That would be really insane.
Can you imagine if that actually happened?
They
I
just
wouldn't even know how to react to it. Like if they just whipped it down and started shitting, like I wouldn't know how to react to it. To be honest with you.
I think it all depends on the angle. You know, if the camera's coming from below,
that's even worse because you're seeing it actually come out, and yeah, that'd be terrible.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes, type of deal. He actually did it, you know. But should I keep that one on there though?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I couldn't tell if it was like over the whole face or even just partly. I don't even know.
Oh, that's a good point. I've always seen it as over the whole face, but I've never like looked at it super in depth, honestly, until now.
I'll keep that on there though, and I'll try to add more for sure. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. This was really fun, actually. Like, I want to say out of the whole season 3, it was probably the best one. Like the most fun I had on the episode.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you like checking me out and reaching out to me. This is awesome. I love it.
Absolutely. I didn't even think you were gonna like get back to it. Like I thought it was gonna be like I'm gonna reach out, but I don't know
Uh,
what's going on next type of deal. But I'm glad you reached back out and you were able to get on and express your personality and your unique, amazing personality at that. And yeah, that was fun. I want to bring you on a future episode for sure.
yeah, I've got to show you my snake. Everybody loves the snake. She's awesome. So,
I'm actually not afraid of snakes. I actually like snakes. I'm only afraid of spiders. So,
it's, yeah, she's massive. She's a big girl, but
anaconda is it anaconda?
no, she's a boa constrictor. Do you want to see her real quick? Do you have time?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. We got
All
hell
right,
yeah.
Andromeda. Ugh. She lives in my closet. In my
Of
oh,
all places.
well, her enclosure is still being built. She's sleeping.
Oh, she's dope.
Mama, excuse me. So yeah, she's almost 7 feet. Will you come out for me?
So when you hold her, does she actually like wrap around you and like?
Yeah, let's see if I can do this. It's nighttime, so she's like, sorry, the angle's not going to be great, but we'll do what we can. There we go. Andy.
Yo, I want a snake now. That's dope.
Come here, mama. Oh.
She's like, why you wake me up?
Nope. But hi, boo-boos. She's got her whole enclosure and she just likes to sleep in my stuff. So look, she'll wrap around my neck.
She's just chilling there now.
Yeah. She'll probably try and get back on the shelf.
Damn. I want a snake now. That's dope.
I have her and then I have a smaller one. But she's just a baby, the other one. So yeah, I do like figure modeling with her and regular modeling too, like print modeling. And she's great. She's the chillest snake, even though it looks like she's trying to.
It looks like it, but I don't know. Do they actually squeeze? Like if they say if they didn't know you type of deal, like would they actually squeeze down?
No, they would. If anything, she would like hiss to be put down. And try and get away. They only really squeeze when they're eating their food. But she has always been. Let me turn around. She's always been with people, and she eats dead birds.
Okay.
So, I know. She can't even. She's so docile. You should see her eating. It's pathetic. Like she would not survive in the wild at all. So no, I mean, in the wild, they would really try to like run away from you. They're not gonna bite you unless like you're really, really pushing their buttons. Constrictors aren't really violent like that.
Okay. It's mostly like the venomous ones like cobras and stuff that are.
Oh yeah, they're bitey. Vipers, cobras, even pythons can be bitey. But the boa, no.
Wow. Yeah, she's dope. She's dope. Yeah, that makes me want to have a pet snake, but I don't understand the tarantulas. I'll keep the spiders away. Fuck that.
Yeah, the spiders are. All right, she's good. The spiders, some of them are really cute, like the jumping spiders.
No, they have too many eyes.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like things that I can pick up and like pet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I have her. I have the other snake, and I have a Savannah monitor, who's somewhere in the closet right now, but she's a baby. Yeah, I have recommended. I like a snake. Not gonna lie. I'll get that big. So.
I want to get one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one I should get. I have to do research on it.
Just call me. I'll hook you up.
Appreciate that. Hell yeah. Now see that's how you network, and now we're friends.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, appreciate you coming on the podcast for sure. And hey, keep in touch for sure, for sure.
Likewise, best
Definitely.
of your future endeavors, and hopefully I'll see you again on here. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you too. I want to see you in some films. Next time you get on
Ask.
this podcast, I want to see some, even if it's short films. I want to see some films.
Hell yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Oh yeah. All right. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. How do I? Oh, I can just press the leave button. Over and out, Captain.